It has really been on my mind lately that Jesus' crucifixion is widely misunderstood and overlooked. When people try to go deeper in explaining it, they often stop at the physical suffering: beaten, mocked, spit on, given a crown of thorns, nailed to a cross, and left to die. But if that's all we see, we miss the real weight of what happened that day. The cross was far more than just torture. It was a divine transaction, a moment of spiritual agony that no human suffering can compare to. First, let's talk about Roman crucifixion. It wasn't just a way to execute criminals, it was a message, a public display of humiliation and terror meant to strip a person of all dignity. The Romans perfected it as the most excruciating form of death imaginable. The word excruciating literally comes from the Latin words ex crucis, meaning from the cross. Every part of crucifixion was designed for maximum suffering. The scourging before the cross wasn't just whipping, it was done with a flagrum, a whip with metal and bone that tore flesh apart. Victims would lose so much blood they'd go into shock before even reaching the cross. Nails weren't just driven into the palms, but into the wrists, severing nerves and causing unbearable pain. Hanging on the cross led to slow suffocation. As the body weakened, breathing became impossible without lifting oneself up on the nails. But for Jesus, the physical pain wasn't even the worst part. The real suffering happened when he took on the full weight of sin. In that moment, the perfect, sinless Son of God experienced the wrath of God meant for us. This is why Jesus cried out,
My God, why have you forsaken me?
For the first time in eternity, the Father turned his face away. Jesus wasn't just dying, he was becoming sin itself. He bore every evil act, every lie, every crime, every hidden thought of mankind, all on himself. And in his final breath, Jesus declared,
Finished!
At that moment, the veil in the temple tore from top to bottom. This wasn't just symbolism, it was spiritual reality. The separation between God and man was removed forever. What Jesus accomplished wasn't just about enduring pain, it was about defeating sin and death. It was about paying the full price for our redemption. It was about offering salvation to all who believe. So if we only see the crucifixion as physical pain, we miss its true depth. Jesus didn't just suffer, he was forsaken so we could be accepted. He wasn't just executed, he chose to lay down his life for us. And his death wasn't just a tragedy, it was the greatest victory. This is why the cross is not just a symbol of suffering, but a symbol of love, of power, and of hope. The question is, what will you do with that sacrifice? If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, Jesus didn't just die for the world, he died for you.